Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. A known Vancouver gangster is gunned down in Chilliwack. Chilliwack MLA supporting a motion denouncing violence against drag performers. Tinder dry conditions have fire crews rather worried about the wildfire season. And CFL legend Damon Allen was in town to inspire young football players competing in an upcoming showcase. Josh will have more in sport. Our special guest this week includes noted drag performer Hailey Adler. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. Just before sunset on Saturday, April the 1st, there were reports of shots fired near the Vetterview Gardens Cemetery on Watson Road. One person is dead, another was injured. IHIT was called into the investigation as well, and RCMP are now looking for dash cam footage. Post-media crime reporter Kim Boland confirmed that the man killed is a known gangster named Sujad Ali Jalal. And ironically, he lost his teen brother to gang violence in Vancouver in December of 2020. A burned out vehicle was found in Langley. It has been connected to this shooting. Now, this is the third targeted shooting in Chilliwack in an 8-day span. However, IHIT and RCMP are stressing that the public is not in danger. We're now into week 3 of the Fraser Valley bus driver transit strike, and from the drivers union QB 561, they released a statement saying they want to be back at work, but they say the foreign-owned corporation First Transit is not progressing with talks. They say that customers are backing up their calls for better wages and pension plans. The drivers want to be back on the road. As of airtime, no settlement seems to be in the offing. However, chillTV and Abby TV have learned that First Transit has, as of Wednesday, filed a grievance in BC Supreme Court, alleging that picketers are not allowing regular staff to the garage site. So we'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. It's not a piece of law that was voted on in the legislature in Victoria. It was a motion, but a very important one. A motion was accepted that condemns hate and violence against drag performers. Violence against performers have ramped up in recent months, and in particular in Chilliwack. A glow-up dance at Chilliwack Secondary was met by a handful of protesters who felt this was not, quote, a dance, it was an indoctrination of an alt lifestyle. But it did feature a drag performance from Hailey Adler, who was also mentioned in the legislature this past week by Chilliwack-Kent MLA Kelli Paddon about this motion. We're going to talk to Hailey in just a few minutes. Right now, here's that excerpt from MLA Patton.
In February, there was an event. It was a student-led event. It was fantastic that they organized it. It's called Glow Up. It was a dance and creative showcase, and one of the things that the students did was that they did invite a drag performer. I think they were emceeing and performing. Their name is Hailey Adler, and they're fantastic. They do a lot for our community and in our community to raise money and really make sure that we have opportunities for inclusive events. And the backlash that came out of that was what spurred this conversation on. It was equating it not only to transgenderism, but mis-equating that to predation and grooming and sexualization. And I think, Honorable Speaker, that's one of the areas where the anger comes from. I had the opportunity to speak with Hailey and just thank them because I knew that it was going to be hard in our community. And even they said this is kind of new again.
Hope Pride is a fairly young organization compared to, say, Fraser Valley Pride in Abbotsford Mission and Chilliwack Pride. Megan Tabokhurst is the co-founding member and chair for Hope Pride. She's also a director for marketing for Chilliwack Pride. Back on March 13th, she made a presentation to Hope Council to ask that during Pride Month in June, the Pride flag be displayed outside of the district office. On March 27th, Hope Council voting 3-2 to decline the offer, stating in a nutshell they wanted to stay neutral on Pride flags and other flags. Now, there has been a similar response from other communities when it was asked to fly the flag. The common concern was either it would be opening the doors for other groups to have a flag asked, and all requests could not be received. The other is that communities feel they've already done enough to promote inclusiveness. Now, Mission denied a request in 2022. Chilliwack did the same in 2021. Abbotsford started flying the flag in 2015. There are reports that a Pride flag will fly in Hope, but not at the district office.
Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt the news here. We'll get back to Don in just a second, but I got something really cool I want to talk about very quickly. Most of you maybe know, maybe you don't know. In my day job, I work as the Community Partnerships Coordinator at the Chilliwack Salvation Army, and I got a really cool program that's coming up that I want to tell you about. We're calling it Plantaro for Us. And what it is, and we're asking the Chilliwack community to plant a row in their garden of some fresh produce that they can donate to the Chilliwack Salvation Army's free grocery store that we call the Pantry. The Pantry serves about 3,000 low-income households every month, providing them with fresh produce, dairy, deli, baked goods, everything you could get in a grocery store, except 100% for free. The problem is that as demand has increased, our ability to actually meet that demand has substantially decreased. And so what we want to do is get the community to rally behind this program, plant produce in their own gardens that we can use to maintain a steady baseline of food to make sure no one's going hungry, we never have to close early, and we always have enough food. We have a kickoff event coming up on April the, 13th, Thursday night next week. That's going to give you all kinds of information. So you can sign up on our website at chilliwacksa.ca. Brian Minter, local hero, is going to be emceeing the event. Danny Ostenbrink from Local Harvest is going to be there speaking, giving you guys some advice and some gardening tips. So please check that out. Support this amazing program, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, Don, back to you with the rest of the news.
Yarrow Community Happenings will be hosting the Repair Cafe at Yarrow Community School on Saturday, April the 15th. Sponsored by the Yarrow Volunteer Society and the United Way. It's the way of the community coming together, as only Yarrow can, and helping each other out and finding someone to, say, repair that thing in the garage that needs fixing. More information is available on their social media. The March weather numbers showed a disturbing trend. The precipitation for the Fraser Valley was almost a third of what we would normally get. The snowpack is about 75% of normal. The current dry conditions have already raised concerns about drought this summer. And over the past week or so, grass fires have been popping up, raising fears that this could be a serious wildfire year. There have been fires outside of Mission, north of Harrison, Sumas Mountain, and one near an Agassiz cannabis store that have had fire crews busy. Abbotsford Fire Service have told News of the Week they have serious concerns for a busy fire season. This one hits home for me. The radio legend Red Robinson has passed away. He passed away over the weekend. He was 86 and he was in ill health for the past year. Red was Canada's first rock and roll radio disc jockey, and while he was doing that, still in his teens and going to high school, he is the only one of two radio DJs from Canada who are in the United States Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I worked with Red twice in radio and another in a group called RPM. It's a networking group called Where Radio People Meet. Get it? RPM. Red was a friend and a mentor. You will be missed. Coming up, we have our interview with Hailey Adler. Josh will have sports and we'll take a look at Easter weather. News of the Week continues with a follow-up on something that happened over this past week. It's not a piece of legislation, but it was a motion that was introduced in the legislature provincially in Victoria. It was a motion to address bullying and violence against drag performers. MLA Spencer Shara brought it in. Chilliwack-Kent MLA Kelli Paddon addressed that situation with Hailey Adler, and you were named in this. We'll get to the fun part of the job, but this was talking about violence against drag performers, and not just you. You've seen this, and how bad is it? I'm sure I've had it in your face more than once.
I mean, the hate we get comes from it's online bullying, harassment, being called groomers, pedophiles. I've had people come up to me at events when I'm in drag and say what I do is disgusting.
Yeah.
And what I do is wear a ton of glitter and do hair and wear some makeup and my nails and jewels. It's how is this disgusting? It's art, it's freedom of expression, and just like any artist, it ranges from ages. You can have a kids-friendly event, you do ABBA numbers. I can do burlesque numbers where I'll do literal Christina's burlesque in front of adults. I mean, and who doesn't love ABBA for kids? My grandma showed me ABBA. That's why I always think ABBA's for everybody.
Yeah. And over the years, and this is going back basically to 1950s television, Milton Berle was in drag, Elton John was in drag. It goes on and on. Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon. Does this motion make you feel a little bit more comfortable, or do you think will it do anything? Will people get the message who really need to have the message?
It's kind of a two-part answer, that one. So I do think it's wonderful to see the government take a side with like entertainers and drag queens. We are harmless. We are just people. I get up every day and have a cup of tea like everyone else, or coffee, but I just love tea. Yeah. Who doesn't love some piping hot tea? But yeah, and with that too, like I say, it probably won't reach them, but at least knowing I have the government and the law on my side makes me feel more comfortable. And I know there's a lot of, back and forth with gay people, the LGBTQ2IA and the law, and the police. But it's still knowing that this happened because people are being bullied, people are being harassed, and people are being attacked. Like Connie Smudge doing the reading in New West. There was, I don't want to say thousands, but at least good hundreds of people showed up to defend her. And
this was at the public library.
At the public library, yeah. And that's amazing, because there was only about 50 people that showed up to actually protest it, maybe less than that. I don't actually know the solid numbers to be quoted on, but I didn't see many people. I saw like 10, maybe 30 people that were actually there causing violence. But yet again, now knowing the law is on our side, so if I get attacked, if I am beaten in public, which I do fear to this day still, because I do this as a job, I know that I can charge them. Yeah. I know I can legally say, I have the government and law on my side, and I can charge you for actually causing me physical harm. And that makes me feel more comfortable and more safe, but the fear is still there.
Yeah. Have you talked to other performers since this came down, or is everyone still trying to figure out what was said and how it was said? And
I think a lot of us don't even know it fully happened. Yeah. I know it happened because I got a phone call that morning saying they're discussing this in legislature right now, and I was like, go run to my TV to throw it on. Yeah. I had that thing on channel 263 on Shaw in minutes. It was up, and Kelly spoke minutes later and used my name, used Connie, and someone else used Connie Smudge's name, and someone else used RuPaul's name. Yeah. Talking about what we're dealing with and what we're having to defend ourselves in ways we've defended ourselves like this for years. I just want to make sure that's clear too. We've had the pedophile argument come up probably every 10-ish years. Every time the church starts to get a lot of publicity around the same thing. But we get it shoved right to us, and there is no evidence and no proof, because we would never do that to a kid. Yeah. We want a kid to feel free and that they are accepted for who they are, and that they can be artsy, they can be flamboyant, they can be masculine, they can be whatever, as long as they're doing it safely, and as long as they're doing it responsibly, and as long as they're not hurting anybody. Yeah. And they're trying to call us monsters for that, and it's to me, that sounds like humans. That sounds like people. Yeah. That sounds like what we're taught from kindergarten to 12 is to respect others. And yet we have to throw up our walls, our defense. We have to get people to come and help us and come support, just to make 10 people go away that are causing what is more harm and making kids feel unsafe. I thanked the police for showing up to the Glow Up dance personally. And I made sure, thank you. I said, thank you for being here to protect us and the kids from them. Yeah. Because we're not doing anything.
Yeah. And the Glow Up dance was a recent dance at Chilliwack Secondary School. Hailey, as always, you're welcome here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're watching News of the Week.
How's it going, everyone? Josh here, back with you. And let me say, it is good to be back in the studio. The lights are just as hot as I remember. I'm already sweating on my back. What do they say? There's no place like home, right? Let's jump into sports for this week, where the BCHL announced its major award finalists on Friday, and a Chilliwack Chief is in the mix for the league's top defenseman. Chilliwack captain Abram Wiebe is one of the players vying for the Campbell Blair Trophy, along with Penticton blue liner Frank Durasevic, and Nanaimo defender Ethan Mystery. The Chiefs are currently in a first-round playoff matchup against the Coquitlam Express, with Game 4 taking place Friday night in Coquitlam. Now, sticking with hockey, it was not exactly the season that the Chilliwack Jets, Abbotsford Pilots, or Mission City Outlaws wanted. But they're good sports about it, and thus, they still sent their congratulations to the Delta IceHawks, the 2022-23 PJHL champions. The IceHawks defeated Ridge Meadows 4-3 in Game 7 overtime at the George Preston Rec Center this past weekend, and they'll now make their way east to Revelstoke for the Cyclone Taylor Cup, April 13th and 16th, for a chance to win the provincial title. The BC Community Football Association welcomed young players from across the province for training camp in preparation for the showcase event known as The Game. The game will feature players aged 7 to 18, and they'll be divided up into 3 separate divisions for 3 separate games at Exhibition Stadium on April the 29th. CFL great Damon Allen was on hand at training camp as a guest coach and a motivator, and Abbotsford's Lacombo brothers, Bo and Nelson, will serve as team coaches. Both are from the WJ Mowat program in Abbotsford, and both play in the CFL, Bo for BC and Nelson for the Rough Riders. You can actually watch the player draft on our sister channel, VBN Sports, on YouTube, and Don Lehn, our own Don Lehn, was able to interview Chilliwack minor football president Colin Boyd a little earlier at Townsend Park, so let's go to that.
News of the week along with VBN Sports at The Game, and we're gearing up for the practice run. The actual game itself will be at Townsend Park at the end of April. Colin Boyd has joined me. Now, you've got a couple of titles, so we got Chief Cook and Bottle Washer and
Sure.
Organizer. So specifically, though,
all of those things, Don, but I'm now president of the Chilliwack Giants Minor Football Association. Blessed with that honor.
Now, putting this together is no small feat. It's not something that just pops up and away we go. We got players showing up. How long does it take to just get the practices going, let alone we've got the actual game at the end of April?
You know, for us, it's been pretty light on the workload. We just provided the spot. We provide the venue here, and Shell's done all the work to get all these great players out here, and we're just excited that we had the opportunity to host it because, as you can see, a lot of kids out on the field having fun.
One of the big things we've talked about with other guests along this is the family atmosphere. Can you comment on that? Because it's such a tight community.
Oh, absolutely. It truly is that. All the way across the valley, we got folks here from the island, and when you see these kids see each other again since last year, it's like they never skipped a beat. They all jump on board, get back in their playbooks, and they have a lot of fun.
The status of the minor football situation, obviously with COVID, everybody took a hit. Has it rebounded well in your eyes? Because you're looking at, especially in the Chilliwack area, you're looking at GW Graham and Sardis and that renaissance. In Abbotsford, you're looking at Mowat and the other programs there. It seems to be okay, and you don't see too many roadblocks ahead.
No, definitely not. We're growing and expanding. Especially we saw registration at our flag programs grow exponentially, and our tackle registration opens up today actually and tomorrow, and we're looking forward to that growing too. So yeah, we've got no hiccups. We're excited.
Getting sponsors too for minor football. I guess now's the time to do the shout out and do your 30-second business card. What are you looking for? Are you looking for just the big players, or small mom and pop shops, or just if you're interested in football, we're here.
Sure. We're all volunteer run and not for profit. So any companies that align with our community values, which is something that we want to get on board with, we're always looking for community support. And we got a great young lady in Shannon. She's our sponsorship coordinator, and she gets out there and pounds the pavement and gets us some good support that way.
You brought up a good point too. That it is a not for profit.
Correct. Yeah. We're all volunteer run. We got great support from folks like Melanie here in the concession. We got past President Wayne in the house too, and forefathers. We're well supported with people that are never ending in giving their time and efforts to the kids. That's what it's all about.
Colin, a big thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You're watching News of the Week in VBN Sports. chillTV weekend weather with Cari Moore. Cari, it is the Easter long weekend, so what will the Easter Bunny bring us?
Well, Don, this long weekend Easter break is going to be a lot of rain. Those egg hunts going to have to be inside. The temperatures are going to be in the double digits, but as you can see, all week long, a lot of rain. So a lot of bonding with the families over the long weekend and a lot of time hunting for eggs inside. So hope you have a great Easter and a great long weekend. Back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari. If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Chilliwack and you have a story you think we should know about, you can always send us a note and your pictures and your video to news@chilltv.ca. We'd love to hear from you. That's the news this week. Have a great Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. I'm Don Lehn.